Sandboxes are a hot topic right now, but they've always been a core primitive of code and infrastructure operations. And sandboxes are managed by pipelines, most commonly CI/CD pipelines to run tests, builds, and deploys. And today, I'm showing you our new pipelines that are coming down the chute. This is like GitHub Actions, but it runs in your cloud on infrastructure that you control. Each step is an isolated sandbox to run code or agents or blazing fast builds. This is the easiest way to run and scale pipelines in your cloud. In the current flight control, we expose some hooks like pre-deploy hooks and post-deploy hooks, but that's all you get. You have to stay within that. But in the new pipelines, you have unlimited control to orchestrate builds and deploys however you want. So let's take a look. Now, caveat, this UI is still early. It's not polished yet. So there's things that you might see. Just ignore them. Focus on the functionality. The polish is coming, I promise. So let's open a pipeline and check out the workflow. You can operate on it visually or in the YAML. Now, you can define inputs that this pipeline needs to run. In this case, I'm defining a prompt input of type string and optional trigger, but the meat of it is down here at this step where we're going to run open code using a custom command step. Now, the interesting thing is that you define the infrastructure. You define the execution environment, most importantly, which is a VPC, a subnet, and a security group. And then you can define the AMI and the instance size. So this is regular EC2 instances. We're actually using Spot in this case. And then you can define your commands like installing open code, and then connect your environment variable securely from parameter store or secrets manager. Now I want to come back to variants, which I think is a very important concept, and it allows you to define things in the variant, like if you had an input that was actually an environment, and then in the variant you can actually say that the environment is production. And so you can preset certain values on a variant, and then you could have a development. Actually, this would be development, obviously, and production and staging and so forth. And you could define values on some variants, but other ones require them during time. So let's discard changes and run this and see how it works. We're going to have a And now you can see the run. You can see that this is the development variant running. You can see the input to the pipeline, output details, and the step itself. And now you can see that it has completed, and you can see all the logs requesting EC2 Spot instance, booting. You can see the open code being installed. And here we run open code run, and we say hello world, and it says, hey, I need some code. Let's write some code. So you can also see the input to the step, all the environment variables, the execution environment details, security group, subnet, VPC, AWS account, everything that goes in. You can see it, as well as output information, including CloudWatch, logs, and so forth. Now, we also have an agent hooked up here, so I can and it has added that step in parallel, and I can switch to the YAML and see that it changed this to be a parallel group, and here's the hello world. So why is this interesting? Well, it's the core primitive that every other major feature is built on. Terraform stack management, the Terraform module system, and builds and deploys. This allows you, with pipelines, to orchestrate anything in the product in any way you want because you have control over the pipeline flow. Now, there's three big things that make this interesting. Number one is because you're defining the pipeline inputs and variants, you are defining an explicit interface for your developers and agents so that they can safely operate within the guardrails of the system. Secondly is security, because this runs securely in your AWS account, in your virtual private network, and so it can access production resources without going over the public internet. Third is multi-cloud, because each step could run in a different cloud or a different environment or different network. It's fully in your control to orchestrate whatever you need. And it's fully API driven, so you can trigger it via API, CLI, or our coming MCP. That's all for today. Stay tuned for our next sneak peek, which is about our Terraform Cloud competitor.